mistakes.
In the top right, making a pretty devastating mistake that last game.
GNL Green Wings True. Pantesu.
Might want to do like a big speedling attack or something on this map. Use his skills, his talents. Down here to the bottom left, the SKT back-to-back GSL finalists.
SK Telecom T1수 어윤수.
Su versus True.
We had some funny name matchups today. True,
yes.
Trap, and Su, True. Ragnarok's
That
pretty
is
much.
Su True, Wolf.
Yeah, you remember back in the Instant Messenger days when girls would always have like those IDs that had like a bunch of O's that went like a lowercase O, big O, lowercase O, big O, and you're like, oh no!
I once asked a girl what that was. And they're like, it's like, ooh. I kid you not. Yeah, yeah. There you go, everybody.
Because I mean,
If you're sitting next to a girl watching this, ask her. She'll agree.
by the way, if you're ever thinking about making an ID, or you know, if it's your first ID, you're gonna make it for Instant Messenger or some game you really like, do not put XX at any point at the beginning or the end of your name. It's not cool. It doesn't look cool at all. Not even a
But
little
all the
bit.
other names are taken, Wolf.
Well, come up with a unique name.
Like Proxy Wolf.
Yeah. Actually, you were the one who suggested that to
Yeah.
me. You have full credit for that.
Thanks.
But yeah, just do not put XX. You know what?
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Don't also like. Some people make an ID where they just put SC at the end. I'm like, well, I mean, that you like StarCraft
I think that's
a lot,
fine.
but
I think that one's fine. I think that's good, showing your StarCraft pride.
I'm okay with that. But
I especially like it when you just never change it and just always leave it that. Like
Trump?
Trump's ID, Trump SC. Doesn't play SC anymore, but you know what? Respect.
Respect, man.
He
got
did play SC.
He's got that old SC tag on his name.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, just don't do the X's. Don't do XOXO either if you're a girl.
It's better than XX.
It is, but like I don't know. That's like saying dirt's better than mud or something. It's like, well, you don't really.
Dirt is better than mud.
You don't really want it.
Dirt is better than mud, Wolf. let's be real here just for a moment, if we could. Let's not lie to ourselves.
These two lings are very adamant about tickling this hatchery right now, but it's not really going to be good long term.
They want the queen to overcommit to a side, I think, so that they can try to run past and get up the ramp, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
No.
It's the dance.
Looks like a bee's, worker bee's way of communicating where the honey is.
Is that how they do it?
That's how lings dance. Yeah, the bees, they dance to let you know where the honey is.
Well, later on there'll be some hornet roaches coming in to destroy that hive.
It's actually really quite interesting. The hornets attacking bees.
Oh, that one with like the 300 bees versus like 8 hornets or something?
Yeah, they burn it to death because they're so hot.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm sure everyone watching has seen this video.
Yeah? Have you seen the video where the eagles like throw goats off a mountain?
I may have. Yeah, it sounds familiar. All right, good scout denial there. Scout said he does have 3 queens, so I guess that's something.
Yeah, I mean, it means he's going for a bit of a more mineral heavy style, I guess. He's taking his gas a bit later.
Nothing right now too different between these two, except for the additional gases here for True. Looks like he's going to start throwing up his wall.
Yep, and Roach Warren goes down at home as well as a lair. So faster tech here for Su. Su seems to be the player that in this series so far has just been the person who takes the next step first, and that's sometimes how it is in Surf vs. Surf. Whether that next step is to get a lair or to go into faster upgrades or add your gases.
That's like, there's 2 ways to win in ZVZ. There's doing everything like just ahead of your opponent, like just more drones and just quicker tech and just quicker upgrades. And then there's when your opponent is trying to do that, but gets too greedy and then you kill them because they have too much more drones, too many more upgrades, too much more tech, and then you just roll them over. So to stay just ahead is the hardest way to do it, but you know, obviously the most skilled, rather than just catching your opponent off guard when he's being too greedy.
Well, I feel like Zerg versus Zerg is a very complicated game of chicken, basically. People say it's a knife fight, but actually it's a game of chicken.
Well, Baneling Ling is a knife fight. When you're microing those in the middle map, that's kind of a knife fight. But definitely, I agree it's a game of chicken.
Baneling Ling is not really that common anymore.
What came first, the Zergling or the egg?
The egg.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yep,
the egg came first.
Did you know all Zerglings are twins?
Yeah, I did know that, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. In the campaign, sometimes Zerglings are triplets.
True.
So, we do have the quicker upgrade for True, the quicker second upgrade. And the third phases are pretty similarly timed, so I would actually give, like, a tiny advantage, I guess, to True here. Yeah, but it's like, it's almost negligible. Like, does that +1 carapace going to change the battle because he got it a little bit quicker against someone who got, like, a slightly quicker third base by, like, a couple seconds? Well, no, those are almost exact, so.
I mean, these two are not going to have any opportunities to attack each other for a while.
Yes.
Notice also that True's creep spread is better. He's got all of his bases connected here.
Yeah, he actually does. That is an interesting point. You definitely do want to connect at least your bases together with creep here, so that your queens and roaches can move around and defend better.
He's getting a macro hatch too, something that Sue does not do this time, at least not yet.
He's droning up quicker than Sue this game as well, if you notice that. He's been in the drone lead. They keep on tying up, but he's getting them a little bit quicker. So it feels like right now he's doing everything a little bit more, but we have a little bit of a higher roach count from Sue right now. Not enough to change anything at the moment, though.
Yeah, I mean, 6 roach difference between the two. And this Overseer is like playing with fire, trying to get as much information as possible, juking around those queens. The +2 is a little bit faster here for True, for both. The same thing we talked about earlier. And probably not going to be like a window of time where this can be punished, but...
And, you know, Sue is actually grabbing his burrow movement and his burrow. So he wants to start forcing mistakes. He realizes his opponent is not making mistakes yet, so has to get proactive on that. At the same time, True starts that. So this game, like so far, we're going to have to see who has better multitasking. Are you going to be able to stop all the burrow movements that are trying to come in to harass you?
While you're also doing the same thing to them.
Yeah.
Game of chicken, Artosis, we're seeing it.
And, you know, likely we're going to see some more tech this game as well. It's hard to imagine that one of these guys is going to screw up and let roaches kill him.
Yeah, I think probably Infestors coming out next. Do you think Infestors or Hydras more so?
Well, you know, you definitely can see both. If you play the Infestor style, I think you have to play a much more defensive game because once you use the spell, it's used up, and that supply is gone for a long time, whereas your opponent can just remake units.
Is that why you think we've seen Infestors almost entirely disappear from this matchup these days compared to Wings of Liberty?
Yeah, I mean, well, they got a bit weaker, of course, in Heart of the Swarm recently, so, or somewhat recently. I guess it's been a while, but they definitely got weaker from the times of Wings of Liberty. So that's a part of it, and then, yeah, people want to be attacking. Like, Roaches is the metagame in Korea. And, you know, if you just add in Hydras, it just makes your Roach Ball stronger.
Yeah.
All right, so he's coming up with a poke, and this is to get his opponent out of position a little bit so he can sneak those roaches in.
Yeah. See, this is
I'm always surprised when this works every time.
It's funny because this is the type of player that makes games his rather than just sit back and take it like True is right now.
That's right, and he's engaging so his roaches can actually get out and do some damage in that main base, but he's going to have to turn around. He's not going to trade well there forever. Great moves here by Sue.
Yep. This is something we've seen players like Life be excellent at. And he has these roaches here in the main base. He could actually try to split them off even into like 4 different directions, catching some of these roaches out here, but a mistake.
Wow, yeah. And he actually had +2 during part of that battle as well, by the way, where Sue did, or where True did not.
He's actually going to send... looks like... Okay, I think he's going to split some roaches off to the third base this time, or maybe he just already did. Now he just set up a concave here, and it takes him a little while to do so, losing some DPS there, actually. But a lot of the roaches are at the natural here. Oh, he's going to get sandwiched.
Yeah, he certainly is, and that sandwich is not going to feel any good.
No.
True definitely has a larger army right here and will be able to crush a lot of extra roaches.
That was a great trade for him. At least Sue tries to pull him into different directions here.
Yeah, I would say that True has defended this well enough, for sure. Like, I'm talking about the Roach harassment. Even though it did some damage, he's basically redroned. Stu overcommitted a little bit on that last attack into the natural. I think it's because he saw so many Roaches in the main base, and for some reason Roaches did get pulled over towards the third. We didn't really get a shot of it, but thought he could get more damage done there and instead got flanked. So a bit of a mistake.
Roach is like adamant about which order he's going to kill these in.
Yeah. Set it and forget it. It's the Roach infomercial for harassment.
Set it and forget it.
Right.
You ever having a hard time hitting all your injects, but you just want to get that harass done?
Yeah. Set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it. Shift Q with 1999, and we'll even throw in this extra burrow upgrade for free.
Yeah. It's, you know, you have your Roach in there. He's getting attacked by a queen. Don't micro it, man. Don't protect. Just inject.
If you call in the next 15 minutes, you can have a special voice recording of Artosis saying that just for you. Well, I mean, this is an engagement that is actually going to maybe be favorable for Stu just simply because he fought with a lot of his Roaches first, but now it's a much better situation for True. He's got the high ground advantage.
Concave there, definitely a factor.
Yeah.
His rally is going to be a little bit closer. You know, we're getting closer to the middle of the map. So definitely something that factors in. Now we do have some harassment here, but look at that. He has a spine. Very nicely done. That's going to make it a lot harder. He's going to have to... Ooh, and a couple spines there as well. I like this that both players are starting to do this. And oh, True actually messing up there. He's losing quite a few extra Roaches, that big concave.
Yeah, both these players are actually making some critical micro mistakes.
Yeah, but we actually have a big group of Roaches that are going to pop up in the main base. That's really nice. Picking off queens obviously can be very helpful. Look at the larva counts for these two players. Definitely in Sue's favor.
Yeah.
And while that doesn't matter right now because they're both maxed out, over time it might end up mattering at some point.
Kill a lot of drones. Stu also has this base at the bottom right that's kind of uncontested right now, so if he can keep this pressure on, he's going to have that extra mining base, whereas the base of True, he hasn't really been able to comfortably send drones there yet.
If he can get some drones at the gold, though, he can possibly let some of these drones that have died not get recreated because he'll still be mining just as much.
Yeah,
so... you know, you do have to be careful about how many drones you make in the late game of a ZVZ. You don't want to have too much drone supply unless you're going for like a more turtly spine crawler infester type of play.
He's constantly just trying to find a weak point with these Roaches. You know, is there ever a moment where he's got enough to break through where there's a few lacking, you know, where there's like a small group of True Roaches that aren't enough to fight his army, and he can crush that and get an edge from that. But it looks like True is now the one who moves across the map to actually put on some direct, heavy-handed pressure here. There's a big, big bank for both of these players. The defender's advantage always going to be strong here with 48 larva right now for Stu. He's actually going for this spawning pool.
We actually have a lot of spines on the way, and here we go. A huge engagement coming up. We actually have a queen and a spine crawler in this engagement as well, but True does have a better concave.
Yeah, much better concave here, much better angle. But again, it's that reinforcement that is going to be a big problem for him.
And with his macro hatch here as well, that's going to make it even worse. It looks like right now both players staying very close to max. We have no additional units for True actually rallying across the map, though.
Yep. Yeah, and he's actually going to clean up here. Meanwhile, Roach's attack in the main base. Finally, we do see some burrow used for defense over there, but I think that he's going to just hold this and be fine, and I think he gets a much better trade out of this.
He certainly does. But you know what? We do have a big bank still left over for True, so he should be able to max back out. The thing is, where are his larvae? Look at that. One larva left, tons of money banked. All this queen killing has paid off in dividends. This is, like, insane. Look at the difference in supply here.
Yeah, and it's just going to get worse. He lost his spawning pool, which means he can't even remake queens.
Yeah, that's a big deal, too.
Concave up here at the top of the ramp for Stu. He's taking control over this gold base, and he will be able to, with just a few volleys, take that out. That's
even an extra hatch that he gets, which is even more production missing. A couple more drones killed, more economy being hurt. Still 20 supply down. Look at this. Oh, even Goop's hatches.
Every single one of them.
Oh, Sue, you're so good at this game.
And I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin, this engagement. There's not enough larva. There's not enough gas, in fact, for True to actually remake anything here.
God, Sue's play is so sexy. Why would he ever do a 10-pool Bane? Seriously. Did you see this? Gooping all the hatches after killing queens all game and then just winning because his opponent doesn't have enough larva?
Sometimes he just likes to
True played very well, too.
Sometimes he just likes to remind you, Artosis, that like not everybody does the great builds all the time, and he just wanted to show you.
Yeah. It's like, hey, look, even I can lose with a build like this. Well, it looks like for now True has held, but you know, obviously this is pretty greatly in the favor of Sue.
Yeah, I mean,
he's up by 14 drones, and you know, that's obviously going to help him to mine a lot more. He's got an additional hatchery that's finished. We do have another base being taken by True, but you know, he doesn't even have creep spread down there at the moment. Oh, I like this. Taking a page out of Sue's book.
Yeah, I mean, if you have these overseers I've been using for detection that long in the game, might as well start flying them around. They're building up that energy. I think you might end up seeing like one spore in each base to stop us in the future if this becomes more and more common. Really also glad that we got to see finally one player use Burrow to defend against Burrow movement roaches that come into the base. It's like, well, if he doesn't have an overseer with those, he can't kill anything. Yeah. Just two things I'm very happy to see in this game.
Now True trying to get a big concave here. He has maxed out once again, and actually does have more army supply than his opponent because he has lost quite a few drones. So definitely a factor here. If Sue just attacks in, this could be wrong, you know? He's attacking into an area where...
Spines are over here too, nearby.
Yeah.
And he's attacking into a concave.
Yeah, it's not just a concave, but yeah, the spines were there. If those ever helped out, that would be huge. And then you got to remember, the rally points are right here.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this one. You could tell Sue, I mean, rather True, was confident here. He even stutter stepped forward during that fight, knowing that it was his.
You know, that's something that happens when you kill off drones. Maybe he's having a hard time figuring out, like, oh, are you maxed? Is that what's going on? Oh, I thought you still weren't quite there. Maybe at, you know, 180, 190, but not the case. And it looks like, you know, earlier on when Sue got that pretty big advantage, I guess we called it a little bit too early because that attack definitely didn't work out for him there.
Yeah, he certainly hurt himself there. Still has a better economy, but for how long? And he doesn't have a bank.
Yeah, both players pretty low on banks, but we should be seeing someone tech up, I think. I feel like staying Roach right here nonstop. Like, look at the amount of gas that Sue has. It wouldn't be hard for him to sneak out getting pathogen glands, or if you wanted to play the more defensive game, or getting the Hydrostem and starting those upgrades. It's not really that expensive. I think he could fit it in.
Yeah.
Especially since he does have the extra drones, because that's giving him extra economy that he can work with.
Hide and seek over here. Got sought. Oh, that one Roach.
Got sought?
They got sought, man. It's not seeked.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's not your cat Seeky.
No.
Got sought, man.
Wow. They got sought.
They got sought.
I've never heard that before.
Get sought, roaches. Well,
I want to see a picture of you saying "gut sought" with a milk mustache. All right, so
this base is not happening.
No, certainly not. That is a huge group of roaches. Very close in number right now. Well, you know what? It's got 9 more. It's pretty significant. But we are so close to his opponent's base. Sue gets a pretty good spread here. I guess both players really do. In fact, True is getting a little bit better for sure. Look at the amount of roaches dancing in the back.
Yeah.
A lot more roaches don't have a partner to tango with on Sue's side.
Oh, definitely so, Artosis. And this is no square dance. This is deciding who's going to the round of 16.
Wow, you know what? Sue played so well getting rid of all those larvae, but that one engagement, turning it all right back around. And I mean, maybe it's, I don't want to call it over quite yet because it is Roach versus Roach.
Well, Artosis, usually when
I feel like every ZVZ now, I'm going to have to, you know, be like, well, I want to call it over, but citing the case of Roach v. Roach between Sue and True that one time, you know, in a scenario like this, actually, the game doesn't actually end.
Well, when you have about twice as many boys as there are girls at a hoedown, man, it's just that hard do-si-do Artosis.
And they finally showed the upgrades again, so we actually see there was an extra +1 carapace.
Yep, that's going to be...
that's going to be it, man. And True is actually going to take first place in this group. A big surprise, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't expect it.
GG.
Well, really well done. You know, definitely a mistake by Sue to attack in against the maxed True who had less drones. But again, I think he probably just had a very hard time of telling, like, did he remax out? Did I kill so many drones that I can't win this battle because he has more roaches? Did he remake those drones? You know, there's a lot of questions there that I guess he just couldn't figure out. because he attacked in and got his army slaughtered, and it all turned around from there.
Well, Sue's not out of this yet.
Yeah.
He's definitely still favored to get out of the group, I would say. And he's going to be... I would say I think he probably still will get out.
Oh, I definitely think he's still getting out. I actually feel bad for the other 2 players, because I thought second place was a tight run between these 3, but turns out True's in first place. So there we go.
There we go indeed. Well, before we go into our losers match, find out the first player who's not getting out of this group, we're going to have a commercial break, so stay tuned.